Hello, everyone. You're listening to Northern Flights, a Park Pro podcast keeping you up to date with the people, tournaments, and culture of disc golf in Canada and beyond. Consider becoming a Patreon today at patreon.com/parkpro. Find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by DiscGolfPark. And now your hosts, Andre, Jesse, and Matt.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Northern Flights. This is episode 19. How's it going, guys?
I'm scared. Yeah. Oh, now I'm even more scared. So Matt should probably say what he was going to say.
I'm just happy to see you guys. What's up?
Oh, that's good. So I'm scared.
Guys!
Oh.
Can I sing?
That's why I was scared. I saw the mouse pointer hovering over the air horn.
Happy birthday to all of us. I'm not going to sing the whole song.
No. But what Matt is referring to is that 1 year ago is actually when Jesse and I started our podcast, published the first episode. So, yeah.
More air horn.
Very exciting. It's kind of cool. You know, we took a little break in between because obviously that's what happens when kids come into the picture, but we are excited to be back and we're back on a regular schedule again. It's been awesome. Hopefully we can keep this up going through the season. It's going to be a busy season, but we're going to do our best to bring episodes to you weekly. Whether that, might look a little bit different week to week depending on who's available, but that's the goal. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, it goes by fast. To think we've been doing this for a year, I guess when you think about it, it's pretty obvious because time of year and everything. But
yeah,
time flies when you're having fun talking with your friends, I guess.
Totally. Mm-hmm. That's all it really is. Just a few guys chatting about disc golf. So, yeah, it's funny. I was talking to, maybe we weren't talking on the podcast about this, but like I was talking, I think maybe when we were leaving last podcast, I was telling my wife about what the podcast is and what it's all about, and some people don't really get what the podcast is, and that's exactly what it is. It's just we're having a chat. It's kind of like playing video games with your friends. You're catching up. You're just talking about disc golf. You're talking about whatever it is. That's what this podcast is all about. Obviously, we're trying to keep things a little Canadian centric, but very excited. And looking forward to the future, what the future holds. So. Yeah,
just like letting you guys be part of the conversation on your ride to the next tournament. You need to fill the air and you want to hear about some disc golf, come hang out.
Or maybe you're bored on a Sunday afternoon and it's rainy and you want to watch us on YouTube and see our pretty mugs. See this pretty thing over here.
Oh, that mustache is still a little bit light.
I'm going to get this out of the way right now. I've trimmed this thing 4 times now because I keep chewing on it. I hate it. If we don't get this Patreon goal done in the next 7 days, I am removing it from my face forever.
There we go, guys.
No. You've been put on notice. If you want to see it jet black, then jump on the Patreon. Otherwise,
it's so easy to sign up, and you can set a monthly maximum. And you can set that monthly maximum to a very small number. It's less than a cup of coffee a month.
Yeah.
To start.
Yeah. And the way it works is right now it's a pay per sort of release that we have. And so, the more releases we have, the more that Patreon will charge you. But like Matt said, you can set a maximum per month that you want to spend. So for as little as $1.50, that's all it costs, and it goes a long way. We got these mics here. We got camera setups. Obviously, we're going to be hitting the road on tour, and, there's costs that come with that, a lot of costs that come with that. So that's what you guys are supporting. And to all our patrons who are supporting us already, thank you so much. And thank you to DiscGolfPark because they've been with us from the start. And
absolutely.
That's pretty huge, supporting this podcast. I actually walked the Rusty Paddle property, the Columbia Wetlands there with Matt and Mark, the owner, just to see what condition was in. It's looking pretty good. There's definitely still some snow on the higher elevation spots, but it's you want to talk about a guy that wants to get the work done and make a course, for people to enjoy. He's got I think he said 27 holes total on the property, which is just awesome. And the best part is you can camp, you can rent the cabins out. It's a great spot for the weekend. I don't want to call this the unsponsored ad, but it's when you walk the property, it's something pretty special. So definitely worth checking out. And I think we're going to do Matt and I were talking about making the Rusty Paddle afterwards. We're going to do a wrap up party because there's the space there. You can have a fire. There's lots of lodging. People could stay for the night. So Saturday night, we're going to do a little bit of a Rusty Ratings wrap up party. So
Rusty raving, get the fog machine out. Let's go. No. It is a really beautiful property. I've been up there and tested it a couple times. Not in the condition it's in now, but you definitely got the feeling from Mark, the owner, that he really cared about that project. And even though he's not a disc golf guy himself, he is a project guy. And he definitely won't let it be anything less than what he deems to be very good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Very excited for that tournament. There's obviously still some room. And while we're on the Rusty Ratings series here, we just finished the Rusty Raven, and it was a huge success. I think we had twice the amount of people we had last year, which is absolutely awesome. I know the owners of the property were stoked because the more people that get there and check the property, the more people that go there on a more regular basis. So very excited for how that went. Casey Hannemeyer took it down in the MPO, shot a course record in round 1, including an ace. So took the ace pot. And for those that don't know, the ace pot is a running ace pot. So it was worth a bit of money because it had both the ace pot from this Rusty Raven and from the Rusty Scholar down in Cranbrook because no one got the ace there. So it is reset for golden.
Yeah, and it was so crazy that we didn't have an ace last year, considering the type of courses that some of these are on. Golden not having an ace last year.
Crazy.
I think the average hole length is like 220 feet.
Yeah.
And that was the most well-attended tournament last year as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
There's some trees out there, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some trees out there. But yeah, if we want to talk some Raven before we get on to other stuff, kind of scary thought for conditions around here because you check the weather and the last 2 days we've had snow, hail, and everything else. A little windy, but other than that, turned out to be a really kind of great weekend to be playing disc golf. I know people struggled with the wind on hole 14, and I saw some crazy stuff happen. Some layups from circle's edge to 10 feet that ended up having more than one stroke happen after them. And yeah, some crazy wind on hole 5 for people that have played it. In the pre-tournament doubles, that's about the 350-foot carry to the pin. With the big cliff that's kind of famous. Mm-hmm. I parked it with a putter in doubles. Did I tell you about that?
I heard about it.
I just threw it up in the air and just put it to 10 feet. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Some other highlights. What did we see? I was playing with Ben Loggins. He was the one that laid out, by the way, that didn't have such a good time. And then hole 14 has hole 15 after it, which is also another crazy rollaway hole, which he didn't have a good time. He was visibly mad on the tee box of 16. People that don't know, it's a 2-shot par 4 with a really wooded tunnel shot for the second. And he put it to circle's edge off the tee. And then wove his putt through about 15 trees to catch the eagle.
That's crazy.
Moved on to 17, put it to 45 feet off the tee, and I think he hit the band for his eagle run.
Ugh, that's crazy.
As he laughed as he walked off, that if he got both eagles, he still would have been +1 on the back 9 because of his bad rollaways.
Oh, no.
But some really great tee shots from him.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys are fun to watch, definitely.
Yeah, when Ben gets crafty,
yeah,
and he gets crafty often, he threw onto hole 10's fairway on hole 9, which this is not going to mean anything to people that don't play the course, but it's got like 30-foot trees that separate the two fairways. He got on the opposite fairway and then proceeded to throw a flex shot over the top of all the trees from 300 feet out, put it to circle's edge. That was kind of crazy. And what other crazy bends? some grenades with mid ranges over trees. Those are fun to watch too.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was very entertaining being on his card.
Ben's nasty.
Yeah, when Ben's on his stuff, he's on his stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of on this stuff, though they were actually here for the weekend, they did commentary on Falcons flight, so that's coming out soon. Just thought I'd drop that in there. Ben and Casey, they'll be on commentary for Falcons flight, and we'll have that released probably in the next couple of weeks, I think, is the plan. So probably first for our patrons, so another benefit signing up for a patron. But back to the Rusty series. This coming weekend is the Rusty, I call it the Rusty Bear, but it's actually the Rocket Bear. And that is, that's down in Cranbrook. This is the tournament that Casey Hannemeyer puts on. It is full. Registration is full. And it's one of the best courses in BC, Wycliffe. If you've ever played it, it's an amazing course. And it sounds like there's not a lot of snow going on there anymore because of this rain and the way that the weather's been. So hopefully this rain clears up by the time the tournament rolls around.
Yeah, Casey called me today saying that things were in good conditions and all the snow and hail I was talking about that we got here didn't hit Cranbrook actually. So that's a nice bonus. A little bit of rain, a little bit of wind. And he said that the course design for Mission Hills is much different than last year. So I'm excited to see that, using much more of the property, less of a birdie fest and more of like a technical mix on the ball golf course. So
Cool.
Color me excited for that one.
Yeah. And then after that one, it's the Rusty Nugget in Golden. So that one's is starting to fill up. The funny thing is that at Raven's Nest, the one thing I like to do is keep registration open for longer. I keep it open till the morning of, just give me enough time to assign any additional players from the night before. But I have a feeling this one will fill up because at Rusty Raven, we had about 15 to 20 people sign up in the week leading up to it. So I think if that happens with the Gold Nugget, it's going to be full before you know it. So
yeah, I haven't checked registration. I think a lot of Golden guys are coming out for that, but you're not as much travel from south.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think there's about 55, 56, but it does attract some people from the Okanagan. I know a couple guys are coming down for it. So
yeah, I saw Johnny on the list.
Yeah.
I don't think he listens, but Johnny Monk, my guy, always smiling. Love seeing him in tournaments.
Yeah, cool to see him. Catch up. That's about all I got on Rusty. You guys got anything else on Rusty?
I'm excited.
I just finally got it. Golden Nugget. I just got it.
Hey.
Rusty Nugget. A little bit weird.
Yeah, that's a weird one to say for sure.
When it's in Golden, it makes sense.
Yes.
I get it.
I want to see how the points end up shaking out after the Rocket Bear, because people have got a few events under their belt. See who's chasing series titles in each division.
Yeah, I still have to figure out the points, add them all up for the first two events, and I'll have that ready to go for the Rocket Bear. So
maybe they'd let you announce the leaders afterwards or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Add some suspense for the final two events.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry to say, I don't think defending champion Jeremy Gauthier is going to be coming to the Rocket Bear this year. I mean, it's full, so he's definitely not. So you got a chance, Jesse.
Hey, you know what? I think I would have got him if I could have bought a putt in that round at Mission Hills, because we were in the same group, Jeremy and I, and he was on fire. Everything was going in for him. It was really fun to watch. And shout out to Jeremy. I know he's your bestest buddy, but if he could be my bestest buddy, I'd be happy with it too, because he's such a pleasure to play with. He's always so nice, easy to get along with. When things aren't going well, he doesn't make a big scene, fuss, just like A+ card mate and A+ guy.
Yeah. He almost killed a child today. I don't know if that affects
your
perception.
B- guy.
We were out just playing a quick round at Hermitage before we recorded this podcast. We were on hole 18 trying to get back for the podcast. And we heard some kids screaming in the distance, and Jeremy's like, "Do you think I should wait?" And I was like, "No, they sound super far away." So he throws this huge spike hyzer on the final hole, and then as soon as the disc leaves his hand, 4 kids coming running out of the bush onto the landing area.
No.
And so I yell 4 as if a bunch of 8-year-olds are gonna know Like they're on a disc golf course. First of all, if they knew anything about golf, they wouldn't be on the green of a disc golf hole. And so what I should have yelled was like, throw your hands up in the air and wave them around like you just don't care, because that's what children understand is the music sayings of the 1990s, and I didn't. And luckily, he missed them all, and then all you could hear was, "Guys, I found a Frisbee!" And I was like, Jeremy, you better go run, get your Frisbee, because I think one of those kids that you almost nailed is gonna run off with your disc. So he did, and luckily he got his disc back, and everybody was safe, and it was a happy ending all in all. But holy moly, he almost Eagle McMahoned a child.
Yeah. What's worse than Eagle McMahonning a camera operator? Eagle McMahonning a child.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. They were doing like a garbage cleanup though, so good on them. I think it was a skill group.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, how is Hermitage playing?
Good. We don't have T-pads, but I believe T-pads are on the docket for this year finally. So that's going to be really nice. It's still just such a blessing to have a second course in the city, like a good full 18 in the city. We've got a nice par 3 sort of pitch and putt type course on the south side, but really in terms of full 18, reasonable distance courses, we've been kind of limited to Rundle Park, which is not enough for a metropolitan center like Edmonton. So it's been great. It plays well. It's a little bit longer than Rundle, and so it's just a really nice course to go to stretch your arm out and try out some distance drivers. And, yeah. The city made us, unfortunately, make some compromises on some of the holes, and it took the difficulty down even another step. But hey, we're protecting those valuable trees and shrubs.
Absolutely. I'd heard about the pin location changes, how they weren't allowed to be within like 30 feet of a tree or something like that. I don't know the exact number. I remember the big moment where all of Edmonton was up in arms about the course changes. And you answered my follow-up question was about the T-pads, because I remember at the tournament that was kind of a hot topic as well.
Yeah, we were supposed to have them in last year, and then working with the city has been a little bit difficult for the Edmonton Disc Golf Association, because the city just sort of keeps changing its mind on what an appropriate layout is for our disc golf course. And it's like somebody has an idea, and they're like, okay, here's your final revision. You can go ahead and move those baskets and T-pads. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time to pour some concrete T-pads, they say, oh, actually, we have to move some of those baskets. Literally, we had to move some of those baskets by 3 feet. So we had to dig up the concrete foundations under the basket, dig new holes, rebury the baskets to move them 3 feet. So it can be a challenge working with municipalities sometimes, but we have a really cool 18-hole permanent course in a public park in the city in a really nice location. So I'm not complaining. But yeah, if you want help getting your courses in, permanent courses in, maybe work with somebody like Maddie over at DiscGolfPark, who's had to deal with all kinds of situations like this and has a ton of experience dealing with municipalities, and especially, really complicated municipalities and federal parks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of which, DiscGolfPark is a unique disc golf course concept developed in Finland in 2005. It is based on the idea of building sports facilities in an environmentally friendly way. Disc Golf Park provides great experiences for players of all skill levels, from beginners to professionals. Our main ideology is to introduce disc golf to new audiences. There are several options to suit any kind of course, and all official Disc Golf Parks. Disc Golf Park includes professional and safe course design, Disc Golf Park Pro targets, T-pads and T-signs, and an info board to welcome players to your course. The Disc Golf Park World concept consists of multiple courses designed for different types of players. Multi-golf is a new, fun activity for the whole family, and in multi-golf, 3 forms of golf are played: foot golf, disc golf, and park-style pitch and putt. School Disc Golf Park offers students a new and exciting form of exercise for the physical education classes. A course suitable for schools can be designed even in a small area, for instance, a schoolyard, Furthermore, the costs of a school disc golf park are lower than that of regular disc golf parks. We also offer private and group lessons or clinics. For more information, check out the website at DiscGolfPark.com and request a quote today.
Wow.
Yes. And speaking
that
of
was
disc
just
golf
all
park,
off the top of your head too. That's incredible.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
No.
Wasn't there. Yeah. Speaking of disc golf park, that is what this Rusty Paddle, the course that we're talking about at the Columbia Wetlands Outpost, that's what baskets are in there as well. So I'm looking forward to that, especially on these new courses. It's nice to have those little arrows pointing you in the direction of where you need to go next. And I think that's going to come in pretty clutch in this tournament where there's going to be a lot of people playing for the first time. So, yeah.
There's disc golf courses, and then there's disc golf parks.
Nice.
Very
true.
And disc golf parks are in Europe. It's actually funny. That's like standard terminology over there. A lot of them will call something frisbee golf park or something like that.
Oh, really?
No matter whose baskets or equipment is in.
Crazy.
I think most people know that if they pay a lot of attention, and if they don't, they don't. So, fun facts for the lay people.
Mm-hmm. While we're kind of talking about design a little bit, I just kind of the story you brought up with the child almost getting hit kind of brought a thought to my head about, the difference between, you briefly touched on it. The difference between a ball golf course and a disc golf course is like, that's not something that happens on a ball golf course. And obviously the main reason is that ball golf courses are tightly regulated. They're private. Do you think that, having more of these private courses come up, do you think that will help sort of, lead the general idea of what a disc golf course looks like for people who don't play? Do you think that kind of is going to change in their mind with more private courses coming up?
Yes and no. I think the more disc golf is known, the less you'll run into those issues. I'm sure the average casual course in Finland doesn't have people building sandcastles on the greens and stuff because it's just so widely known there, where the average kid in the city of Edmonton probably doesn't really know anything about disc golf yet. That said, private courses eliminate it entirely. And I think more than that, the push to private courses could come from having a nice manicured private space that's less busy. As we're growing, I would pay $5-10 a round to not have 4 groups of new players backed up on the tee box, or something that these busy city courses are running into. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't even say new players. Even Baker Park, you can have all skill levels, and you can wait 40 minutes to get on the first tee, and then have someone throw on you and almost hit you. I think once you pay that $10, you get that dedicated time. The type of person that's attending these types of venues, playing at these courses, is not the type of person that you're going to come into much conflict with on the course.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. And I will also add a very interesting idea that I just had while you were talking. Disc golf courses are intentionally built into nature in a way that ball golf courses are not. Ball golf courses are almost the opposite. Like anywhere you go that has a ball golf course, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Even if it's in a beautiful natural area, the grass is different. There's shapes to the holes. And so if you put a ball golf course, let's say at Rundle Park in Edmonton, there's a disc golf course, and there's also a ball golf course in the same giant park. And you don't have people wandering around the ball golf course because it's pretty clear from the design of the holes that, okay, in this corridor of well-manicured grass, there's something happening. Mm-hmm. And there's a flag on one end, and then some little balls on the tee pad on the other side, and there's a straight line in between them. And disc golf doesn't really have that, and a lot of our holes are bending left and bending right, and throwing through car doors if you're at the Organic Sports Ranch. And so it's not as immediately obvious when you're on a disc golf course if you're not directly within sight of a basket that you're on a disc golf course. They're really meant to blend in and work with the natural features. So I think for mixed use parks, it's probably always going to be a big deal, even if every household on the block knows who Jesse Tamalti is because he's the best disc golfer in Canada.
Yeah, I agree. But I think once people know what a disc golf basket is, they're probably less likely to do that mixed park activity within 50 feet of said basket. Maybe.
Not in my experience. I ran across people that were having a picnic underneath the basket in Rundle, and we like really patiently and carefully explained that, hey, this is a disc golf course. It's a lot like golf, like you're used to, but instead of putting into a hole, we're throwing into this basket, and this is the basket right in front of you, and it's got chains, and it catches the frisbees, and you see over down the hill there, people are going to be throwing these hard plastic frisbees up the hill towards the basket, so you're kind of like right in the way of where people are trying to throw, and they just said, oh, okay.
Yeah, you skipped one thing. I said people when they know what disc golf baskets are. Because there's no way those guys. I mean beforehand. But no, you're right. You don't see.
But they didn't. But they didn't move. Was the point?
Afterwards they didn't.
Yes, they were like, "Thank you for this wonderful lecture, sir."
Fair enough.
Enjoy our picnic now.
Some people don't know what kind of projectile they're dealing with. You know, when you say they're going to be throwing their frisbees up here, they're thinking like getting a little bump from an ultimate disc, not like Homeboy with the Metal Flake Destroyer coming at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, you don't see a lot of kids playing or people having picnics in the center of a baseball diamond because the big red clay triangle gives it away.
Yeah.
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 You're right. And when you're right, you're right.
I mean, just another example is, I was playing in Kamloops and at MacArthur, and if you have never played that course, it's on an old ball golf course, but it's obviously open to the public now. And I was throwing off of, I don't know which hole it is, but if you played it, it's the one you throw from the top of the hill and you kind of throw down to this flat area, and there's willows on your right, willows on your left. There's a family having like professional photos done in this park just beyond the willows, blind off the tee, and the only reason we knew they were there was because you could hear the kid just bawling his eyes out. And so then we like yelled at them. They didn't see anything. One of us threw like pretty close to them, and then we just kind of like warned them afterwards. Because there was a guy just standing there that was part of the group, and it's like, you might just want to like at least stand in the middle of the fairway so people know you are here, because we can't see you. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
That kid would be crying a lot harder if he catches a disc in the anywhere.
Yeah. But it's I don't know, it's an interesting thing, and I think it's a tricky thing to navigate, but that is, to bring this all back to DiscGolfPark, that is something that DiscGolfPark can help you manage as far as the safety of courses go, especially in these public areas. So, obviously if you can get a private course and, it doesn't cost too much money, those are, I think those are becoming the preferred courses to play. So.
Yeah, I have a membership to a private course in south of Edmonton, and it's like I'm glad to pay the expense to go somewhere like you mentioned, Jesse, where you just go whatever you want and you're going to get on and you're not going to be hassled by other golfers or a bunch of people walking around, and it's such a luxury. And it's less money for the year than one round of ball golf at a nice course.
Yeah. Oh, the value's crazy. I think we could see expensive courses. It might be like a 10 years down the road thing, but people putting like very significant landscaping efforts in, like a Eagles Crossing type course where they've got the big towers and all the stuff that's been done. Yeah. I think you'll see that more and more.
I wonder what Maple Hill costs for an annual membership, because it's in a relatively large, like it's near Boston, I think, and so there's probably a lot of disc golfers around there. I wonder how much it costs for a membership there.
I can't remember. It's is it like?
Or do they even have memberships? If it might be $10 around, and that's it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've looked at this before.
This is actually, I'm just kind of pulling this open the website, and the other thing I think is really cool is when you start to get these popular courses come up, you get tee times that come into effect.
You book a tee time.
You have to book a tee time, like classic golf. So
like I said, that guarantees you're not backed up. You have dedicated space and time. You don't have too many people watching you because they're, waiting for whatever or doing whatever else. They need to be there on time for their tee time. Group in front of you, keep up, be done with it.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm not hoping that it goes in the direction of ball golf where it costs $60, $70, $80, $100 a round. Because one of the best things about disc golf is that it's very affordable and for everybody. Yeah. But to pay a nominal fee to have an extremely good experience is
Yeah. And I think, while we're talking about private courses, I think that is why public courses will never die. It's because, that's kind of the spirit of it, is you want it to be accessible. The nice thing is that the more private courses you get, the more serious people get about the sport. They'll start going to those private courses, which opens up places and spots in these, the Rundle Parks and these Baker Parks, places where, the beginner can start to play and get better and sort of evolve their game. And Maple Hill memberships, individual is $300, membership for a couple is $400, and a family membership is $500. And these are obviously US prices. So
that's a little more than I expected. But still, if you live nearby, I think that's totally reasonable. There's guys that are playing every second day.
Yeah.
You can whip out 100 rounds at Maple pretty easy. Especially if you live. Can you imagine if that's your home course?
Top 5 courses. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. It honestly might be there. It might be there to deter like overuse. So you don't get everyone and their dog there every single day.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm down for it. They'd get my $300.
Yeah. If I lived in PEI, I would absolutely get a membership at Hillcrest.
If it's
play there every day,
still.
Come on.
Yeah, totally.
PEI actually has great disc golf for people that haven't been. You hear about Hillcrest, but there's a lot of other great courses on that island, and everything's so close. Go to PEI for your casual disc golf vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or go to the Disc Mini Open.
Yeah, there you go.
Is a sponsor.
The first disc golf tournament in Canada that you can buy tickets for, right? Like kind of thing.
Totally. I think that's going to start happening more and more as the sport grows. Like, I think, especially, when the Canadian Disc Golf Tour gets more and more popular, I think you'll start to see more spectators at those as well. At least that's the goal, right?
You know what? I just found a silver lining to that hurricane, which is hard to say. If some of the trees on the edges of the fairways came down and it can accommodate spectators easier, that might be a blessing in disguise, because people are standing in the fairways. Lady got hit with a disc from the lead card. Like, it is not a very spectator-friendly course, but it produces disc golf that people want to watch. So hopefully we'll be seeing more of it in the future with the trees down. Cross your fingers.
Totally. Well, we, that wasn't even on our podcast, our doc here that we have on our schedule.
We don't have a plan. This is just 3 friends talking, Andre. You just said.
Right. But that being said, speaking of no plan.
Oh, yeah.
Jesse brought over some hashtag not a sponsor crafted soda, Barks crafted soda.
Spiced cherry flavor.
Yeah. So we're going to give it a try.
I had no idea if this is going to be any good, but it sounded like fun.
Barks like the root beer?
Like
I hear that stuff has bite. Were you guys old enough to know the Barks has bite commercial?
Oh, yeah. It came out when I was 4, I think.
Yeah.
What do you mean Barks has bite? Do you want me to say the whole commercial while you guys drink, just so our audio listeners are... What do you mean Barks has bite? Johnny? What do you mean Barks has bite? Johnny?
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
I like it.
It's not as spiced as I thought it would be.
It's not as spiced and it's not as bitey as you'd think it would be.
What do you mean Barks doesn't have bite?
Oh, get out of here. But for the world of cherry-flavored things,
yeah,
I'd have that once in a blue moon. Not offended by it. Sweet.
It's very sweet.
But it's pops.
I mean, it's a soda. Yeah. So, yeah. Gonna get that. All right.
Teeth squeak.
Back to disc golf. Some news and notes from around the Park Pro community. We just, by the time you hear this, and probably at the time of recording in the next 15 minutes, we'll be releasing the Crush mini documentary. It's out. It's been available to patrons for a day now. We were hoping to get it to them a little bit earlier, but the way these deadlines and stuff work, that's just kind of how it worked out. But go check it out on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on our YouTube, if you're watching this podcast on our YouTube, first finish this video and then put that in your queue, because it's something that we're really proud of. It's pretty awesome. And on that note, the whole purpose of it is to showcase it was for last year, it was the Kootenay Women's Crush or the Women's Kootenay Crush. I can never get the order of those right, but it is now called the Crush because the tournament has evolved from being a Kootenay-centered tournament to a sort of traveling tournament. So this year it's in Kamloops, and registration for that is open. It's open to all ladies of all divisions. Open now. So definitely go check that out. You know, if you have a wife or a significant other or a daughter that's interested in taking it up, this is a good opportunity
or a mom or a grandma.
Or mom or grandma. Any of the ladies in your life. This is you know, the WGE is great, and now the CWE, the Canadian Women's Event, those are all great. This is a chance for those ladies in your life to sort of push themselves to the next level, because it is a B tier event, and it's just you know, hopefully has a little bit more clout than your average global women's event or Canadian women's event. So definitely worth checking out, and it was a huge success last year. So check that out. I believe it has $1,000 added cash, so like it did last year. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was coming out this week, so I feel a bit silly, but I just quickly typed on my phone. It's only 4 minutes, so everyone should be able to watch it. You don't have other commitments that don't leave you 4 minutes left in your day. And in the 20-second preview I saw, I knew, well, maybe I should, but I knew everyone in the preview clip. And I was like, hey, I haven't seen her for a while. Hey, I haven't seen her. Oh, she drove out.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool how close-knit the community is, even in the, you know, less popular women's side.
Well, and the cool thing is that event last year, it drew people up from Montana. So, you know, some professional women from Montana and obviously from Kamloops. Didn't get too many people from the Lower Mainland, but hopefully being in Kamloops this year can help that event grow. And I don't know for sure, but I believe the year after it's going to be in Calgary already. So I think that's already set. As of right now, it depends on how the membership or the registration goes, but Parked Pro will be there to cover the FPO lead card and feature card. So
love it.
And then, you know, that was the plan last year, and then they didn't quite get enough FPOs registered. So we kind of changed our focus to this documentary style thing. So as well as taking photos and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Did I, oh no, see correctly that the new Crush registration is tomorrow or today? The current
today.
Crush? The Crush.
Today. The Crush.
Yeah. So if you're a female listening or there's a female disc golfer in your life, registration is open today.
Today, as in we're recording Wednesday, so it's open yesterday by the time you listen to this. So
it's open today, whether you're listening or talking. It's still open today.
There is no past or future. There is only the present. It is the only thing that exists.
And that's why they call it a gift, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Something like that.
The past is a mystery, and the future is kind of sistery. I don't know the saying. Listen, check out the documentary. It's so cool.
It's
and
totally worth it. Yeah.
It's really good. You get to see some fun stories, and you get to hear some great knowledge about how to grow the women's side of the game, which has been underrepresented historically. So, if you're a disc golfer or not, it's worth checking out and just seeing, because it's just nice to see people doing something that you hadn't considered doing yourself, and that, you know, hey, there was like dozens and dozens of women out there at this tournament, and there will be again, and they're all having fun. So try it out. Don't be scared.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that just happened.
There's a glitch in the system, glitch in the matrix.
A giant EMP from the Soviet Union knocked out all of our telecommunications, and we had to pause the podcast. Sorry about that.
Dude, you are old. You've had all these references, and the bad guy of your life is the Soviet Union.
Sorry, communist Russia.
Yeah, no. But like my age, every bad guy was from the Middle East. You know, every single movie bad guy was the Middle East. Go back 15 years, every bad guy's Russian. I think we're back to bad guys being Russian, though. Maybe it's cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was the Ottoman Empire, I'm pretty sure, is all I'm saying. Yes. And anyway, where were we before we were so rudely interrupted?
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say we do have an announcement coming up, but I was gonna say that that's just a proof that we kind of treat this almost like a live show. We don't really pause or edit our podcast very much, so you're kind of getting it all off the cuff, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we don't know. We don't know. Obviously, we've got a few patrons, so that's obviously a good sign. Speaking of patrons, we have some exciting news. We have coverage coming out for the Foxwood Open round 3 coverage coming out.
Oh my God.
Double horns on that one. The Foxwood Open from last year. If you're not familiar with the Foxwood Open, it is a massive A-tier out in Ontario. It is a US DGC qualifier. If you saw Martin Hendel at the US DGC in the final round on lead card a couple of years ago, he got there because of the Foxwood Open in 2021. And we've got final round coverage from 2022 coming your way, and it is one of the craziest endings that you'll see in a disc golf tournament. No spoilers, but you got to watch all the way to the end because it is a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, and so that coverage is out. By the time this podcast releases, it will be out for our patrons, so it's another reason you can sign up. And then it will be out to the public this weekend. Saturday, I think is what we said. So Saturday night, look for it on Saturday night. And along with the coverage coming out, we have another major announcement. The Canadian Disc Golf Tour.
Cover your ears, Jesse, wherever you went.
A while back we teased that the second of 9 tournaments, and of course that is the Foxwood Open this coming year. It will be a part of the Canadian. It will be a part of the Canadian Disc Golf Tour, so we're very excited. We have the crew out in the Grand River Disc Golf Association or Club. You should know this. Yeah. It's the club out in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. Check them out. They did coverage in 2021, and we helped them out this past year, and they're going to be doing the footage for us. And we're still undecided if we need to send someone out there to help out, but obviously they're very capable when you look at the coverage that they got last year. So we mostly just did all the editing for them on last year, and that's kind of the arrangement for next year. So we're very excited about this coverage and about it, Foxwood being a part of the tour. So
yeah, GRDGA, Grand River Disc Golf Association. They're one of the coolest, most active clubs in the country. They do awesome tournaments. They have put out great coverage, and we're working with them, and we're so excited to be doing that. And it's going to be a major part of the tour. So super excited. Pew, pew, pew. Jesse's back. Sorry about that, Jesse, but he
had to take
when we get excited.
Did you hear what I said, Andre?
No, I didn't.
This is one that should be only for the patrons, but I'm going to tell everybody. I used that extremely exciting announcement as a tactical exit for a fart. That I did
not turn into a fart.
Because, you wouldn't want to do that beside your co-host you're going to sit beside for another however long.
Pew, pew,
and as I crested the corner, I pooped myself a little. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. So I had to deal with that.
All right. Did you use the bidet in there?
I didn't, dude. I've never used one. That's scary.
Oh, man, you gotta get on the bidet team.
Thankfully, that was like just a little squeaker the cheeks kept in, so the gaunts are clean, and just had to deal with it. But holy, I was like, did you really just do that? This bark's spicy cherry, I tell you.
There's no better use case for a bidet, let's be honest. Listen, This isn't one of those podcasts. And much like Jesse, we got to clean it up here. So,
yeah, here we go. We do have, we could talk about the Music City Open because that happened last weekend. Obviously, it was nice to see Ricky come back. He was back playing Valerie Mandujano is still out, and
yeah, I'm a little bit worried about
rough.
Valerie Mandujano because she was sort of going for her, like, okay, let's get the final sign off from the doctor after all this rehab and healing, and did not get a go ahead by the sounds of it. We haven't really heard too many details, but that's not real promising for one of the top stars in FPO to have now been out for, 3 months almost? 2 months? With essentially it was like a rolled ankle.
Yeah, and you kind of got to wonder what Discraft is thinking about this as well, and what it means for her comeback. Hopefully she's standing on one foot, practice putting, wants to hit the ground running, but not the best
great.
look right now.
It's rough. Injuries are part of the sport, I'd say more than ever in disc golf right now. And I think part of it is people are actually being able to afford the opportunity to take care of their bodies now, which is a good thing in the long run. But it's also people are throwing further and harder and playing more and practicing more. So
yeah, I'm
going to start seeing more injuries, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy. Hopefully it means that there's enough security in disc golf that you can afford to take the appropriate time off for rehabilitation. Because I know if you got to pay for the next bag of ramen noodles and you think you got a little something going on in your back, you're going out there to play for your last cash or whatever to keep putting gas in the tank. And who knows if that injury gets worse and puts you out.
Maybe that's what this Discraft contract allowed her to do is, she's obviously putting her longevity, front and center. So it's kind of it's kind of the same thing with Ricky. He didn't come back till he felt like he was 100% ready. He tried coming back and realized it wasn't quite there. So, I think along with all these injuries, you're going to see these people taking the time to make sure they're 100%. But that being said, you look at Tatar last year, obviously she played through an injury and she did incredible. So
yeah, only you know your body as well. It's really easy to cave to social pressure and other things.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Tatar, she takes down the FPO.
Yep, the Queen's back.
Yeah.
She was gone.
She went back to Europe for 7 days.
Gave everybody one Silver Series,
yeah.
I think. Or was there even a tournament that weekend? I don't even know. And
I think it was an empty
That
slot.
was the off weekend where our buddy Max got his win.
Oh yeah,
that was the weekend. Right. I believe she was gone. Yeah.
Man, even when she's not great, she's great.
Oh yeah.
And I think she's starting to get that aura that Paige Pierce had not too long ago, where people would be playing worse on a card with her on lead card, just out of pure intimidation. I think that's why we're starting to see her win some of these tournaments where, she's not making as many spectacular shots throughout the tournament. But it's just, other people on the card just have a hard time getting over that hump.
Absolutely. And they talked about that. Not that I watched the podcast, but I saw a clip of it. Yuli and Brody interviewing Ken Climo, talking about, if he thinks that his presence made it harder for other people to play. And he said that it almost definitely had to have, it's time to show up because people are watching no matter what. If you're playing with Kristen Tatar, just like Kenny back in the day, doesn't matter if you're on the chase card, you're on the third card, you're on the fourth card, you're getting the most attention at the tournament. All eyes are on you. There could be no greater pressure, unless maybe it's the last few holes for your win or something like that. But from a cardmate perspective, I don't think there's anybody even close in FPO right now. It is 2018 Paige effect.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and then on the MPO side.
Sorry. Speaking of Paige, not a great showing for her, right? Wasn't she like T25 or something like that?
I think she said she was dealing with some back soreness that tournament.
Okay, because everyone wants.
She won one of the two previous tournaments.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying she's out of it, but just maybe not finding the consistency.
Tied for 27th.
27th.
And
her timing's kind of been all over the place. Sorry, Andre.
Well, I was gonna say one stroke behind her is the Canadian. Chantel Budinsky.
Oh, yeah.
With a strong showing. So
yeah, very good showing.
Yeah, that's awesome. She tied with Alexis Mandahanu, Chrissy Fountain, Stacey Ronsley, finished ahead of Stacey. So yeah, that's it's nice to see her
Stacey
doing well.
Ronsley was one of my dark horse picks to be a great up and coming player this year.
Yeah, she beat a lot of good players here. Like even Maria Leva, and she didn't have a very good weekend. So there's a lot of good names below Chantel there. So congrats to her for doing so well here. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it's really good to see. That's something I do when I check on players I like or friends I know that are playing Casey, Max, whoever happens to be playing the event. I check all the good players they beat.
Yeah, exactly.
I scroll all the way to the bottom, hoping I'm going to find another A-tier player here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and we had Max and Thomas Gilbert on the MPO side at this tournament.
And
I think Thomas got the better of Max this week.
Yeah, I believe Max ended up in 67th or something to that effect.
Yeah. It's a tough one, but he's been getting to follow his rounds is kind of fun because he's had a couple of rough starts to tournaments. When he's not, finishing great at a tournament, he's having a rough start, but he always seems to finish off really well. And I think that is a very promising sign for the rest of the season because it seems like it doesn't really matter how his previous round went or how his previous shots went. He still has the capacity to finish strong at these tournaments. Yeah. So
the power of the short memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like seeing that too. If he hasn't had a good first round, I do like checking in and seeing how many places he jumped. I love to see the improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that arrow going down.
No. Yeah. Thomas Gilbert finished tied for 54th. And then at the top of the leaderboard, we had Simon Lizotte taking it down
from the chase card. Yeah, buddy.
Love it. I saw a post from the DGPT saying that 4 of the last 5 Elite Series were taken from the chase card.
Yeah,
and Simon has 2 of them.
2 of those were Simon.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But you look at that back 9; it's incredible. He finished with 8 birdies to take down the win. So,
yeah, that's insane. James Proctor also with a great showing. He must have jumped up a lot of spots.
Totally.
20 under total with a 10 down round means he did everything of his first 2 rounds in his final round.
Yeah.
We talked about it, I think, in the fantasy preview. Before Simon's injuries started, he was a top 5 player in the world. And then I feel like a lot of our perception of his competitive game have sort of been soured by, some chronic injuries that he had for a couple of years. And he's always been kind of this aloof, I don't really care so much about winning. I'm just out here to entertain fans. But when he's healthy, he has a history of being a top 4, top 5 player in the world. So I guess should we, at this point, should this be a surprise that he's got the, potential to win week in, week out?
I think Simon cares more about the golf now.
Yeah. I agree.
Than the entertainment. There was times, and even at Canadian Nationals a couple years ago, trying these goofy over the top shots that'll never work because he had 2 bad holes and his mental game just says, "Oh, let's just have some fun now." I'm like, dude, you're only 3 strokes back of the leader. Why are you doing this? Now you don't see it. And I think the more he focuses on the golf, the more people start to remember how high his throwing skill is. And his golf IQ is actually very, very high when he decides he wants to use it. I would say he's top 3 right now. In my
I'd say he's probably the best overall backhand thrower of a golf disc in the world. If you count distance, accuracy with your drivers, accuracy with the mids, accuracy with putters, I would put his overall backhand throwing game over just about anybody.
Yeah, I think Eagle's in that conversation and Drew is in that conversation pretty heavily. But
I would say Simon has a better pinpoint accuracy than either of those guys.
There's some, I give you that over Eagle, but Drew's got some sneaky stuff because he doesn't have any sidearms. Simon has a golfer sidearm, not a flashy sidearm. Mm-hmm. But Drew does it all with the backhand. I don't know. It's a tough call.
I mean, you look at Calvin Heimberg as well.
Yeah. Calvin's up there.
I think he finished tied for third in this weekend. He's playing out of his mind this year.
If you have to pick somebody to throw 350 feet up a tunnel, backhand. Simon's up there. Drew Gibson's up there.
Chris Dickerson.
Chris Dickerson's
easy.
Yeah.
He's like known for that kind of like Tennessee Woods style.
What's the pressure like? Because if the pressure's on,
I know Dickerson's not the best one to mention right now after he had the lead and lost it here, but
I was gonna say if the pressure is on, I wouldn't choose anyone other than Paul McBeth because he's been in those situations and he's done it countless times.
Yeah,
so.
Ice cold.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Good for Simon. Nobody is cheering against Simon Lizotte in the final round.
No, definitely not.
Except for the competitors. And even probably half of them are cheering for him.
I'll up you on and say that Simon's probably the guy I would pick to land an inbound shot from 425 or something like that. Because I think he's got a little more control of everything at greater distance. He doesn't have to work so hard to play the game in that kind of range.
Totally.
I don't know. Lots of great disc golfers out there.
All right. We can move on. We just have a couple of things to bring up here. First of all, in our little fantasy disc golf chat, Greg Hearn, one of our patrons, he made a good point in the chat about age-protected divisions and purses, and suggests maybe locking in cash when people sign up.
Yeah, so you don't sign up in MPO and then find out, oh, hey, there's actually 20 people in MP40, and I can beat all of them, so I'm just going to move over there. If you do that, you can do that, but your cash stays allotted to whatever division you sign up for.
I think that's a terrible take. I'm sorry, because you're playing to your. Yeah, I know you're playing to your skill level. I think there's he wants to take the predatory aspect out of it.
Yeah.
But for someone like me, who's put me as a 40-year-old, my rating's 930. If I sign up for MPO at a small tournament like this Rusty Series, and then suddenly I get, 10 more people that are 990, 980,000 rated, decide they come in, and I want to move to MP40, where it's truly more tuned to my skill level, my cash now gets to go to these guys. So now I'm a MPO superstar, and I go around the country looking for tournaments that are well registered with poorer players than myself, and I sign up with my buddies trying to bully people out of the division to take more cash. I think it's goofy.
I'll take the opposite point. I kind of like it. Sign up for what division you should sign up for, and don't be sad if you decide to move. And it's if there's 6 people, maybe it's a noticeable change in your cash out. But if there's 15 or 20 people, you're not going to notice that extra $80 missing from the cash. So I kind of like it.
Yeah, but what about the opposite then? What if you're in MP40 and you only have 5 people sign up, and then the MPO division's much larger and therefore has a bigger purse? Are you going to keep that money in the MP40 division?
I mind that less because if the other division's well registered and the one's poorly registered, if you give $80 to 4 guys, it makes a much bigger difference than taking that $80 to 25 guys. I think it's the opposite that's the issue. Don't get me wrong. To Greg's point, I think the people that division swap for easy wins are dirty, dirty people. We saw it a lot at Canadian Nationals, where I know that at least 6 players that were signed up for MPO once they saw the full MPO registration bumped down to MA1, including petitioning the PDGA when they had accepted cash to allow them to play MA1. Yes, looking at you guys. And if I ever hear you say something bad about Park Pro Media, I will out you so fast your head will spin.
Yeah. So if you're one of those people, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will keep you anonymous.
You have to. We'll be checking the likes.
Yeah.
No.
I did the opposite at Nationals. I won the 2 flexi tiers before the tournament the first time I went. And then I was like, oh, God, I got to get up a division because this is, I chose the wrong division. So I went up and got absolutely trounced. but I felt okay about it.
Yep, that do be what it's like.
Yeah. All right, this next one we had Dan Heiberg, fan of the show, regular commenter on YouTube. So we have a special little segment here that he brought to our attention. I'll let Matt take this one away, but I will say, if you're listening on your favorite podcast network, head over to the YouTube. We're at about an hour on this timestamp here, so head over to the YouTube so you can see this. And Matt, take it away.
Listener Dan Heiberg was watching the Disc Golf Pro Tour the other day, and he saw Calvin Heimberg on the screen, and something tweaked in his memory banks of a long past childhood watching Marx Brothers movies, and he thought, Harpo. Calvin Heimberg looks like Harpo. So he looked it up, and he sent us the pictures that we have on screen right now, and oh my God, is Calvin Heimberg ever a dead ringer for Harpo Marx?
It's crazy. It's funny. When you're setting up that story, we brought up the pictures a little bit early, and you're just like, oh, is that Calvin Heimberg and his dad, maybe?
Grandfather.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's uncanny.
I'm going to go home and Google Marx Brothers movies.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my goodness.
Definitely a different age group. I didn't know who he was.
The Races, and Night at the Opera, Duck Soup. You guys have no idea what you're missing. It's the only black and white movie that's still funny today.
All right.
Okay, wait. I got a question for Matt, who's a connoisseur of funny things. If you don't know that, you do now. Have you watched Airplane recently?
I saw it a few years ago, and it has aged, but it's still drop dead hilarious.
Interesting, because I watched it and I found it was dated now to the point that it's lost a lot of it for me. And it is considered like the funniest movie of all time by a lot of people. But I'm thinking Mel Brooks' best work might be Blazing Saddles in the modern day. But that's a talk for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blazing Saddles is pretty timeless. I'll give you that. Mm-hmm. Airplane is also, it's tough because it did spawn like a whole bunch of movies over the decades that any of the, any of the parody movies, like Scary Movie. Yeah. It was like kind of the original big, like really funny parody movie. Like it was a straight up parody of a drama about an airplane. And it's just like, they just made funny jokes in place of serious drama dialogue. But, still pretty great, I think.
Maybe I have to rewatch it.
Let us know in the comments, is Airplane funny, or am I just a weird old... Let us know in the comments if Airplane's funny, or if you have another funny movie.
Yes. Tell us funnies. I like funnies.
I have something to admit. I am currently watching the Rocky series for the first time.
The first time?
Obviously, I've seen clips here and there, but I never actually watched a full movie. So I just got through Rocky 2 last night. I'll probably watch Rocky 3 while I edit this podcast. And yeah, just thought that was an interesting little tidbit.
That's a good one to watch while you're editing. Rocky 3 was... Yeah. But Rocky 4 gets right back up there again.
All right. Good to know.
So fun fact, Stallone and Carl Weathers, during their fight scene, actually punched each other a whole bunch of times, and Carl got really mad. And when you see him getting all puffed up, apparently it's...
That's real?
Yeah, real and unscripted, and they put it in the film.
That's pretty good.
I like movies.
Yeah, movies are good. All right, one last little note here. We took a poll. Obviously, this is a poll stemming from the coverage of out at Lethbridge at the spring runoff. And Matt and Jeremy asked what we should call our slow motion replays. And it looks like Slow Pro is the winner. So, yay. There you go.
Oh, wait.
Nah. Not a Slow Pro.
Yeah. So we had a few people that recommended that name, and it looks like it won the poll. But shout out to a few last minute suggestions here. We had parking lot security cam. And that was from BR Disc Golf. And then we had the quote unquote, we're going to have to go back. Sorry.
We're going to have to back that one in, and then you're going to have the sound of a backup beeper off a truck or a forklift.
Yeah, there you go.
I got you.
Yeah. Dyslexia, yeah. It's kicking in.
You got to get a sponsor for like some kind of moving company. We're going to have to back that one in.
Yeah, there you go.
Brought to you by U-Haul.
I know a few people that are movers, so movers and shakers. What time we got?
That was Scott Gibney. I assume that's how you pronounce that. Gibney was the one who originally recommended Slow Pros. So, Scott, if you're listening, we don't know who you are or where you're from, but get in touch with us, and maybe we'll send you a little something in the mail.
Find me at a tournament. I'll give you a Discmania prototype.
And a Park Pro towel.
Boom.
What?
Yeah. And if you're listening to this podcast, if you are listening to this podcast and you know Scott Gibney, give him a hard time for not listening to the podcast if he didn't reach out to us. And tell him he's missing out on a bunch of fun prizes.
Tell him it's in one of the episodes, but don't tell him which one, so he has to listen to all of them.
Yeah, we put it at the end of the last one. Very smart.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, I think that's it for today. It's a little bit of a shorter one. There's not a lot going on in the disc golf world other than our local events. And, unless you guys got anything else.
Not much.
No.
Oh, do we have like a fun question to leave it on or something? I got to think of something.
Well, I will, while you think of that, I will say thank you to Disc Golf Park again for sponsoring this episode. Chatted with Maddie. He's going to re-up for a few more episodes. So always nice to have them on board.
Got another nonsense question.
All right.
One, Disc Golf Park is amazing, and I love everything about it, including Mr. Reardon. This is spiced cherry, so it's sweet and spicy. What two flavors are the best combination? We've got sweet and salty. We've got sweet and sour. What do you think? I think I'm a sweet and salty guy.
You're like a Chicago mixed popcorn kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like caramel corn and cheesy corn.
Oh, cheese and caramel sounds horrendous, but I hear what you're saying. Like a sweet and salty bar.
Like a Nature Valley.
Like a Nature Valley for the guys.
You know what? I'm going to one-up you and say, you get the chocolate chunk cookie, like a chocolate chip or a chocolate chunk, double fudge, whatever. Sprinkle a little salt on top.
I'm going to derail this even further. The Ham Pie Company, PEI, world famous amongst disc golfers, also makes banging cookies. Their chocolate chip cookie, they put a salted pretzel into. And I agree. That's a money combination.
But counterpoint, sweet and sour pork.
Yeah, no, I'm not convinced, but I would believe you if you like it better. Well, it is a good one.
What you got?
I'm not gonna lie. When you said the Hand Pie Company, like my eyes started tearing up because I got so sad that I can't go there for a hand. I'm not even joking.
Dude,
for the
that place
podcast.
is
I started getting misty when you said that. For real.
I bought a T-shirt in my last visit. I look at it sometimes and get a little that way.
I'm going to say a perfect blend of sour and bitter.
Oh, you're a wild boy.
That's great.
AKA completely neutral. Chemistry joke for you guys.
Awesome. Let us know in the comments what you think, what you prefer. Matt, take us out.
From all of us here at the Northern Flights Movie Podcast, lights, camera, like, comment, and subscribe.